Hello again. Welcome back to Prost. I'm the Gnarly Gnome. This show, we drink together, but sometimes we learn a little bit about what we're drinking too, which hopefully is what we're going to do on this episode, because this beer is something that I knew nothing about when I heard it first announced. Just let me get it first. This is oooh from Fretboard Brewing, a collaboration they did with Woolly Pig Farm Brewery. It's a lager. I know a lot about lagers, but this specific style, see if I can get this right here. It is Ungespundet Lager. Ungespundet. It's German. It means uncorked, I think, something like that. Unplugged. Unplugged. That's what it is. Bear with me for a second because we are going to get a little geeky with this. Bamberg, Germany is one of the coolest cities in the world because of the individuality of some of the beers that are produced there. We've all had the Rausch beer, and that is hugely popular in Bamberg. But there's other stuff happening too. And one of the things that is really popular in that part of Germany is this idea of Keller beer or Ungespundet beer or Zwickel beer. You've heard some of those before, hopefully. Zwickel beer is specifically beer that is pulled from a little spout that comes off the fermenter, the maturation tank, however you want to read the definition, but it's just a little spout. Beer's pulled off of that. It's cloudy, it's hazy because it still has all that stuff in it. It's not filtered. Keller beer, very similar. It's just unfiltered lager. Ungespundet Lager, unfiltered still, traditionally. Bear with me, we'll get to that. Traditionally unfiltered. It also, the tanks that they traditionally were matured in were these big kind of casks, these barrels that had a hole, a bung hole. You had a bung that went in that hole that sealed it up. However, with this, they left that open. It created a different type of fermentation because a lot of that CO2 came out. So your beer, when it was served, was a little less carbonated. You didn't have that carbonic bite, which is almost like a it's a bite is the best way to describe it. You've tasted it before, whether you realize it or not. It lets some of the other flavors come out that kind of get hidden by that sometimes. This is just a super easy drinking lager, traditionally unfiltered, traditionally fermented with that open bung. This is a modern take on it though, because as you know about our modern breweries, they don't typically ferment their beers in wooden vessels with open bungs to the world outside. To replicate some of that, they did carbonate this a little lower than most of their beers are. I wouldn't call it low. I mean, as you can see, it's still definitely carbonated, but it's carbonated less, so you get some different flavors than you would otherwise. When you look at this, you can see that it is filtered. I mean, it's a clear, bright, beautiful beer. I think traditionally it would have been a little hazier, a little more Keller beer-like, but I'm excited about this beer because it's something that makes you talk about what you're drinking. I've talked way too much without taking a drink, so as you can see, it's kind of golden, little bit of a almost like an orangish amber hue to it, but nice creamy white head, big malty aroma. Like I said, it's definitely carbonated, but it's lighter, it's easier to drink. This is one, and that's kind of why I put it in a mug, because it's one that I just want to sit there and just kind of, that act of drinking, that, sitting with your friends around a big table, big plates of food. This is one of those beers that pairs perfectly with like meat and cheese and just drinking food, It's not, you're not going to go and pound a bunch of hot wings with this beer, although that you can. I'm not going to judge you. It's a drinking beer, and it's a great drinking beer. Like I said, it leans a little more into the malt side of a lager, kind of like a Helles or even like a Vienna lager. Maybe not quite that far into the malt as Vienna, but just a really, really great beer. And I don't know a lot about the guys at Woolly Pig, but if you ever get a chance to get up there to visit them, I assume that they also make great stuff like this on a regular basis. We know Fretboard does. We've drank plenty of their beers, and this is another great one. So, Ungespundet Lager, we should talk about that, the name, oooh. So, in Germany, if you go to a bar that has a Ungespundet Lager on tap, you just walk up to the bar and you order oooh, an oooh beer. Well, it just so happens that if you flop oooh to ooh-ah, it's now a song, which sticks to Fretboard's kind of naming themes that they do. So, fate, This beer. If you can still find it on shelves, find it. If you can't find it on shelves, yell at Fretboard, get on their social media and say, you need to make this beer again, because they do need to make this beer again, because I am just in love with it. And it really makes me want to go to Germany right now and hunt down this stuff. I'm going to go to Germany. I'm not going to Germany. My wife would kill me if I just left right now, went to Germany. Hey, someday, I guess, I don't know. Prost.